foxbangor.com. More people choose Good Morning Maine.
Hello, everyone. Today on Good Morning Maine, major reductions in services are on the horizon for the town of Lincoln. We'll explain coming up.
Plus, the city of Brewer is hosting a fundraiser aimed to support families impacted by the Robbins Lumber Mill fire.
And Maine game wardens are reminding folks that it's Pollinator Week. We'll learn how to protect native plants and animals ahead.
Good morning and welcome to Good Morning Maine. I'm Janessa Bishop.
And I'm Craig Colson. Thank you for joining us on this Wednesday morning. It's good to see you out there. We're going to kick things off with a check of the forecast, and there's some pretty good news in that department.
Yeah.
Looks like it's going to be a little brighter today.
It does, and it seems like the temperatures will be up a bit. We've had a ton of rain.
We have
recently.
had a bunch of rain. There's still a chance of like a scattered shower today, but otherwise should be a pretty nice day.
Not too bad.
Yeah.
We'll turn things over to meteorologist Chase Ropanek.
Thank you very much. Your morning weather is brought to you by Rogan's Memorials. Give the gift of comfort through thoughtful planning with locations in Bangor, Bucksport, and Lincoln. All right, as you see, we're starting off another warm morning with mid to upper 50s for lows here in Bangor. You're seeing that along the coastline, up into Millinock as well. Some cooler spots, low 50s in Holton, Presque Isle, and upper 40s for you in Clayton Lake this morning. But as we go throughout today, there will be another chance for a few showers and thunderstorms. That's mainly going to stay into the northern tier of the state for today. Millinock into the Presque Isle region and Clayton Lake as well. We're looking to stay dry here in Bangor for your Wednesday afternoon and throughout tonight as well, but we will have a few more chances for showers and thunderstorms going into your Thursday afternoon. So winds out there, there is going to be a breeze from the northwest for today, looking at gusts near 20 to 25 miles per hour, mainly for the central and western portions of the state. That's due to being on the backside of that low pressure system, while the center of the low still up north is going to be doing that, producing those chances for showers and thunderstorms. Winds will lighten up for tonight, and then we can see some areas of dense fog out there as well. So your hour-by-hour forecast for today, the show is staying pretty dry here in Bangor, partly cloudy skies, and it's going to get a bit warm out there for today, expecting highs to reach up into the mid to upper 70s.
All right, thank you, Chase. We'll see you a little later on. Well, after a fiery town council meeting, Lincoln approved a town budget that is slated to drastically cut spending for public safety and other departments.
Public safety officials are warning these upcoming cuts will present significant operational challenges in the year ahead. And our Grace Blanchard has the story.
Major reductions in services are on the horizon for the town of Lincoln.
We've got to right-size government, because if we don't, people are going to continue to leave.
Monday night, the town council approved a $9.9 million budget following a series of 4-3 votes for fiscal year 2027.
I don't think it's going to be worth it.
The budget is a major reduction from the $11.5 million budget proposed by the town manager. Councilor Gordon Street fears this move will drive more people out of town.
The town of Lincoln is a service business, and we are effectively turning around and saying, sorry, we're not going to serve you anymore.
Some of the biggest cuts are to public safety.
It's going to be a big hurt for the department.
The fire and EMS budget has been reduced by more than $300,000. 80% of that budget goes towards payroll. Fire Chief Les Brown says the budget cuts could reduce the number of full-time personnel from 20 to 14, impacting emergency response efforts.
They tell 911, we will be there, but maybe not with the crew that we should have to respond.
Funding for the physical fire station was also reduced.
If we have doors that break, if we have a furnace that goes down, if we have a breathing air compressor goes down, we're not going to have the money to repair it.
The police department's budget was also slashed by around 20%. Chief Lee Miller says they are hopeful to avoid reducing staff, but several vacant positions will likely remain unfilled.
Having the proper supervision, the proper training for these officers is really important, and that's going to be significantly decreased.
The effort to cut back on costs was spearheaded by Councilor David Ireland. In a statement shared with us, he argued that spending has increased dramatically over the last decade, and the burden has been placed on property taxpayers. Spending for departments like Public Works and Recreation have also been cut.
We're going to put our town taxpayers at risk. It's terrible what they put us into.
The budget will take effect on July 1st. Chief Brown says they could see staff reductions within the next 3 to 4 months. In Lincoln, Grace Blanchard, ABC 7 and Fox 22 News.
Well, meanwhile, the Bangor City Council has approved a $145 million budget. It includes money for another assistant city solicitor and 8 new firefighters. There's also funding for a housing response coordinator. Councillor Susan Falloon voted against the budget, saying she supported the new positions in general, but when the budget was presented, they were told it was supposed to be a starting point, and the implementation of the new positions was expected to be more gradual.
The budget largely looks the same as it was when it was originally presented. So while the overall tax burden was reduced from what was originally proposed, that largely happened by shuffling money, not by eliminating expenses.
Well, that budget was passed by a 5-3 vote.
Meanwhile, the Penobscot County Sheriff's Office is asking for the public's help in identifying individuals they believe may be connected to recent burglaries in Herman. The Penobscot County Sheriff's Office is investigating a burglary at 90 Diesel Shop Road in Herman. They say this location was targeted repeatedly, with individuals breaking into the building and causing property damage. They say the most recent incident was late on Saturday night. You can see in the property surveillance cameras captured several images of the alleged suspects in the latest break-in. If you have information on who may be in these photos or the case itself, you are asked to contact the Sheriff's Office.
Well, just before 11:30 on Tuesday morning, firefighters were called to a structure fire off Route 102 in Bar Harbor. The fire was upgraded to a 3rd alarm, bringing in mutual aid companies from all across the region. Departments from as far away as Ellsworth also responded. According to the Bar Harbor Story, Route 102 was shut down for a while as emergency workers did their thing at the scene. With no fire hydrants available in the area, Trenton Fire Chief Steve Heckman says his department helped coordinate a water shuttle operation, transporting thousands of gallons of water to support firefighting efforts. The cause of that fire remains under investigation, and the case has been turned over to the State Fire Marshal's office.
The Waterville Police Department is asking for the public's help in finding a missing man. Police say that 54-year-old Eric Cullen was last seen leaving his home on June 1st. He has not been heard from since. If you have any information about his whereabouts, please contact the Waterville Police Department.
Authorities suspect the improper disposal of batteries caused this month's fire at the trash facility in Orrington. Investigators say the fire at Eagle Point Energy began in a trash reclaim area.
They believe it could have been burning for hours before it was discovered, and it happened in the area where trash is stored and sorted, and officials believe that some batteries ended up in that mix. Meanwhile, Governor Janet Mills has ordered both United States and state of Maine flags to be lowered to half-staff across Maine today in honor of late Searsmont Assistant Fire Chief Wayne Woodbury. He was one of the 2 firefighters who died on June 14th as a result of the explosion and fire at Robbins Lumber in Searsmont.
Funeral services will also be held at 1 o'clock today at Belfast Area High School. Flags are expected to be flown at half-staff from sunrise until sunset today. The City of Brewer invites residents, businesses, and community organizations from across our region to join them this Thursday night for a community fundraiser to support families impacted by the tragedy at Robbins Lumber Mill. The Neighbors Helping Heroes event kicks off at 6 o'clock Thursday night at the Brewer Auditorium, located at 318 Wilson Street. The family-friendly event includes food, face painting, bounce houses, touch-a truck displays featuring local fire departments and emergency vehicles, and a family movie to conclude the evening. This is an all-donation event, and 100% of the proceeds will go to the Waldo County Firefighters Association. Brewer Fire says not only will the money help the families affected, but it will also help affected communities and fire departments who rushed in to help and lost equipment in the explosion and fire.
I believe there were 3 fire trucks that were destroyed in this tragedy. And then the various equipment, we have turnout gear that we wear and our air packs. All that stuff is compromised or damaged and needs to be replaced. And unfortunately, it's rather expensive to replace.
Well, he says there has been an outpouring of support from the community for that event. And again, the Neighbors Helping Heroes event kicks off at 6 o'clock Thursday night at Brewer Auditorium right there on Wilson Street. They hope to get a lot of people out there.
Yeah, what a nice thing to do.
Yeah.
Well, a group of conservatives is demanding the state to do more to oversee Maine care spending. Conservative group Lead Maine says it submitted more than 3,000 certified voter signatures to DHHS. The group is petitioning the department to adopt 2 new rules on Maine care spending. One would require a state auditor to be physically on site when inspecting a provider, and the second rule would suspend future payments to a provider accused of improper payments.
Greater accountability will only strengthen this program to ensure that the funds are available for the vulnerable Mainers who need it. These 2 rules will help make sure that the program that serves them is honest, it's transparent, and it's accountable to the taxpayers who fund it.
Governor Mills said in a video statement back in March that the state is conducting oversight to ensure that Maine care providers are held to high standards of care and that any fraud is investigated and prosecuted.
Well, CMP wants to raise your power bill by about $18 a month. The Maine Public Utilities Commission met in Lewiston where they debated that request.
Julia Simone shows us the reason for the plan and those who showed up to fight back against that increase.
Back in April, Central Maine Power requested to increase their rates, but CMP customers are pushing back, saying their electricity bills are already too high. If the rate request is approved as proposed, the average customer would see their bill drop by $4 a month in the short term. But starting next year, that bill would go up about $18 per month or $216 per year. Critics say a significant portion of the increase will boost profits for CMP's overseas investments. CMP says the investment would reduce future storm costs and support Maine's clean energy transition. As part of their request, CMP also wants to establish a multi-year rate plan. But many of their customers rallied before the hearing tonight, opposing the proposed rate change.
People are struggling, and again, Maine has the 5th highest rates in the nation already. So for CMP to come in and ask for their profits to be increased, and by the way, their revenues would increase by $190 million per year, it's just untenable.
Well, the time now is 6:12. Coming up next on Good Morning Maine, Mad Cat's Restaurant and Bar is set to close. We'll have those details ahead.
They're looking for another owner now. But first, another look at that forecast. Looking like a pretty nice day today. Partly cloudy skies with a chance of thunderstorms later. High temperatures around 79 degrees. Partly cloudy, a bit foggy tonight. Lows in the mid-50s. Tomorrow, much like today, partly cloudy with a thunderstorm later in the day. High temperatures around 81. We'll be right back.
Rennie's, a Maine adventure.
Whether you're dressing for success, dressing for a party, Rennie's has the best dresses. Long, short, different styles, you name it. Great prices. Get to Rennie's.
Thank you for shopping Rennie's.
Davis Brothers Furniture is expanding. At Davis Brothers, we've always strived to stand out from the rest, and we are now proud to offer flooring for your home, featuring both carpeting and luxury vinyl flooring. We even have an installer in-house with over 30 years of experience. Come see the reason people have been traveling from all over the state and beyond to Davis Brothers Furniture in Guilford for decades. Davis Brothers Furniture, deliberately different, delivering statewide.
On Dancing with the Stars, The Next Pro, 12 of the best dancers join me for the audition of a lifetime.
I'm here to win.
Woo! This is what hunger looks like.
Nothing is gonna stop me.
Now watch me move.
Every year, communities recognize outstanding service with the Spirit of America Foundation Tribute. Do you know a local person or group that goes above and beyond for others? Nominate them today by contacting a select person, city or town councilor. Help honor those who make a difference where you live. For more information, visit spiritofamerica.website.
Welcome back, everyone. The Maine Department of Inland Fisheries and Wildlife would like to remind you that it's Pollinator Week. So here's the buzz on how you can protect these crucial creatures. First, you can add native plants to your garden. A wide variety that blooms in the spring, summer, and fall will support pollinators in each stage of their life cycles throughout the whole growing season. Second, mind your mowing practices, leaving some areas untouched, not mowing as often, and keeping your grass a little taller all serve as great habitat for pollinators. And finally, choose conservation. Supporting healthy populations of native wildlife like birds, bats, amphibians, and dragonflies can also reduce reliance on pesticides that can harm pollinators. Even a small patch of habitat makes a big difference for pollinating bees, butterflies, birds, and more.
All great tips there.
I've got all kinds of flowers growing in my vegetable garden for that very reason. It helps with pollination, and they also naturally keep some of the insects away.
Definitely.
Marigolds, things like that.
Yeah,
So,
all good.
yeah.
Well, a restaurant, bar, and karaoke hotspot in Brewer is now for sale.
Our Sam Miller with that story.
After 4 years of business, multiple closures, and a grand reopening in March, Mad Cat's Restaurant and Bar closed its doors on June 7th and is now on the market. Originally opening after the closure of Jetser's Bar and Cityside Restaurant in 2021, Mad Cat's became a popular location known for its fresh food and karaoke scene. However, due to personal health issues and a lack of consistent funding, the owners put the restaurant up for sale and are searching for potential buyers. Co-owner Stephen Markwith says the restaurant is ready for use and just needs to be steered in the right direction.
We're hoping to sell everything as a package to a potential buyer, again, where it's turnkey, ready to go. If we have to, we can parts everything out, sell a fridge here, sell a table there. We are hoping to avoid that because obviously it involves us being here a lot more, and you're getting nickel and dimed, and we owe a substantial amount of money in debt. So if we could sell it all as a package at a substantial discount to at least make a dent in the debt, that's all we're looking to do.
In their latest Facebook post on the Mad Cat's Facebook page, the owners invested over $500,000 in the business, but are content with selling it for $159,000. Despite the closing, Markwith expressed gratitude for people who came from across the state to have a good time.
We've had people coming from 2 hours away, people coming from whether it's Mountain Desert Island area, whether it's the Lincoln area, Waterville, Belfast. Thank you all for the support, and I really appreciate that, especially those of you who came on a very regular basis. And those people really helped us hang in there as long as we could.
Markwith added that with a combination of new ideas plus everything the building includes, the sky's the limit for anyone looking to purchase. In Brewers, Sam Miller, ABC 7 and Fox 22 News.
Now, the Maine Moose Lottery had roughly 3,700 moose permits available this year, and late NASCAR driver Kyle Busch is said to had to be one of the recipients. He was one of the ones selected. Yeah. Busch died in May after severe pneumonia led to sepsis and rapidly escalating complications. His name was drawn for an antlered October moose permit on Saturday. According to the Department of Inland Fisheries and Wildlife spokesperson Mark Laddy, state law does allow the transfer of the permit to be a family member in the case of a death. It says the commissioner shall transfer a moose permit to a family member who meets the eligibility and permit requirements as outlined in the statute and who is not otherwise prohibited from holding the moose permit. Kyle Busch was 41 years old when he passed away. No word on what might happen to his permit.
Yeah, hopefully maybe a family member will be able to use it.
Yeah.
Well, the time now is 6:18. After the break, primary election results around the nation coming in overnight. We'll have the big winners ahead.
Plus, we'll learn all about the Belle of Belgrade bus service. Those stories and more straight ahead on Good Morning Maine.
Are you in need of remodeling your bathroom? Want to convert your tub into a safe walk-in shower? Call the experts at Bangor Bathrooms by Design now. They offer complete bathroom remodels, and from start to finish, your satisfaction is guaranteed. Call them now and save thousands. 659-6457. Enjoy that brand new bathroom you've always wanted from Bangor Bathrooms by Design. Transforming bathrooms, elevating lives.
You build more than projects. You build what communities rely on. When the job site runs on results, put Kubota to work. Backed by expert service and support from your local Kubota dealer. Right now, bring home select Kubota KX Series with 0% financing available or save up to $7,000.
Available at Doors Equipment, 1468 Outer Hammond Street, Bangor.
As a doctor in rural Maine, we're already seeing the impact. Susan Collins voted to support Donald Trump on the largest Medicaid cut in history. Healthcare is getting even more expensive. People are losing coverage. Our hospitals are closing, and the worst is yet to come. But Susan Collins gave Trump a blank check for his war in Iran. Billions of dollars that we could use here in Maine. We need to tell Susan Collins to stop siding with Donald Trump. We can't afford it.
The Belle of Belgrade is turning heads. It's a small bus that can accommodate up to 10 people for an adventure through Maine.
Our Jody Hersey takes us aboard.
Is everybody ready? Yes. All right. Here we go.
For the past 6 months, the Belle of Belgrade has been rolling through Maine, taking passengers on book crawls, thrift store hops, and tea party getaways.
Don't be jealous, just join.
This mobile adventure experience was created by Lindy Wadbauer, who moved to Maine from Maryland 4 years ago.
It's my way of helping other people find those places that speak to them, feel in their soul what I have felt here.
5 women from a book club in Farmington recently hopped on board the Belle bus to participate in a book crawl through Belgrade and Waterville.
I really just liked the social aspect of it. I liked meeting a few new people and just hanging out with my girls.
Some shared adventures Lindy schedules herself. Other times, she creates an itinerary based off requests from the public.
I'm obsessed with Belgrade, and so a lot of the tours originate there and try to incorporate pieces of it. And then we go Bangor, down east, down to Portland, out to the coast. Every single time this bus turns its wheels, there's an average of 3 to 4 other small businesses that are supported through that. And we cross an average of 3 towns, generating an average of $1,000 into the community revenue in one bus trip.
The Farmington Book Club group gives the experience 2 thumbs up.
It's so cute. I love Lindy taking us all over the place and meeting new faces.
It was a much needed girls' day. I enjoyed it. It was great.
In Belgrade, I'm Jody Hersey for ABC 7 and Fox 22 News.
I love that. What a great idea.
That idea is genius.
Yeah.
I actually recently followed her on TikTok, and I'm very interested in going on the Belle bus.
Yeah, it's very neat.
Well, the time now is 6:22. Let's get a full look at our forecast with meteorologist Chase Ropanek.
Thank you very much. Your Maine weather this morning is also brought to you by Rogan's Memorials. Give the gift of comfort through thoughtful planning with locations in Bangor, Bucksport, and Lincoln. All right, it's a pretty warm morning. Once again, very similar morning to yesterday with mids upper 50s here in Bangor. 57 degrees to start off your day, 55 in Millinocket. A bit cooler as you head further north. You're looking at low 50s in Holton, Presque Isle, 49 in Clayton Lake this morning. But a few of us starting off near 60. You can see that in Lewiston to start off your Wednesday morning. Average highs this time of year right around the mid to upper 70s. We are going to be back above that for today into your Thursday as well. Cooling off Friday. That's when we'll have some showers and thunderstorms all across the state, keeping us cloudy and cooler, but into your weekend upper 70s, low 80s, and that sticks around into your Monday and Tuesday as well. So winds are going to get a bit breezy out there for today due to being on the backside of the low pressure system we dealt with. Looking at gusts near 20 to 25 miles per hour out there, but we're still looking to warm up nicely for today as well. As we go into tonight, winds look to lighten up, and as we get into your your Thursday, that's when winds are getting a little bit more breezy again from the southwest, with another chance for showers and thunderstorms. It looks to be more here in Bangor. But for today, the threat looks to be a little bit more north. You're looking for areas near Millinocket into the Presque Isle region, Clayton Lake as well, Holton area, all having chances for showers and thunderstorms going into this afternoon and evening hours. But looking to stay pretty dry here in Bangor. Should have no chances really for seeing those showers and thunderstorms. But for tomorrow is when we'll have a better chance again during those afternoon to evening hours, and more of that threat for showers and thunderstorms being the Bangor and coastal regions. You can see that here. Some showers and thunderstorms going north throughout the night, but again, they're going to lose energy, and we'll have another round and more widespread chances for showers and thunderstorms heading into your Friday. So for today, looking to get close to 80 out there, upper 70s with chances for showers and thunderstorms north of town. We look to stay dry here with partly cloudy skies and winds a little breezy from the northwest. But for tonight, we'll have some areas of dense fog as winds lighten up. You're going to see partly cloudy skies and lows in the mid 50s. So For tomorrow, we're going to get a bit warmer, low 80s, partly cloudy skies, but yes, we do have that chance for a few more showers and thunderstorms going later into the afternoon. Again, that time frame being right around 3 to 5 p.m. Taking a look at your extended forecast, you can see low 80s in the Thursday with another chance for showers and thunderstorms that continues into Friday, and that's when we'll be a bit more cooler due to heavy cloud cover, keeping us in the upper 60s, but we will have no issues rebounding nicely for your weekend, upper 70s for your Saturday, and low 80s into your Sunday.
Seasons Lounge and Banquet Center. We're just one block from Hollywood Slots in Bangor and are now under new management with a new chef and a completely redesigned menu. Come grab a drink and enjoy a meal with us. Fans, food, fun. Seasons.
Kirk Fisher is a motorcycle attorney with first responder experience. He protects fellow riders and those in danger. Fighting fires and fighting for your rights. Experienced, determined, and dedicated. Iron Horse Motorcycle Lawyers. Look for motorcycles, or Kurt Fisher will be looking for you.
When outdoors, some people like it hot and some people like it cold. However, when indoors, most people like it comfortably warm. Consider a Rinnai direct vent wall furnace from McCusick Petroleum Company to provide you with comfortable and efficient heat. They also offer sales and service on many brands of furnaces, boilers, and water heaters. McCusick Petroleum Company delivers oil and LP gas to homes and businesses throughout the Pequot region. If you'd like more information on pricing or service, call or stop by our office in Dover Foxcroft.
Graham Plattner blamed women for getting raped. Who says something like that? Plattner said women should take some responsibility for themselves and not get so effed up they wind up having sex with someone they don't mean to. What's wrong with this guy?
Plattner said to avoid rape, women should act like an adult for F's sake. He's an awful person.
Graham Plattner is dangerous.
I would never vote for Graham Plattner.
Pine Tree Results PAC is responsible for the content of this advertising.
Seasons Lounge and Banquet Center. We're just one block from Hollywood Slots in Bangor and are now under new management with a new chef and a completely redesigned menu. Come grab a drink and enjoy a meal with us. Fans, food, fun. Seasons.
You're watching ABC7 Bangor.
Well, for the first time, the Senate voted to end the war in Iran. This comes after the House also passed this measure a few weeks ago.
ABC's Karen Waugh is in Washington with more.
President Trump is set to meet with Senate Republicans today, furious after they voted with Democrats to stop the war in Iran unless there's approval from Congress.
Only Congress has the power to take this nation to war, and this one must end. In fact, Trump never, ever should have started it.
This is the 10th time the Senate has tried to stop this war. The House approved a similar measure a few weeks back. While Tuesday's vote is largely symbolic, President Trump is expected to quickly veto it. It's a clear sign of bipartisan frustration.
Obviously, it's going differently than originally we were told it was going to go. I agree with the original aims, but it does not seem as if we've accomplished them.
But President Trump still touted the deal as triumphant, speaking to a rally in Pennsylvania.
Now we're leaving Iran with no Navy, no Air Force, no anti-aircraft, no missile capability, no nuclear program. We're leaving them without any nuclear capacity, and they've agreed to that.
But Iran has made no new commitments regarding its nuclear program in the deal signed with the U.S. And while President Trump says Iran has agreed to allow nuclear inspections, Iran's foreign ministry says they do not have any plans to allow IAEA inspections of Iran's nuclear facilities.
Iranians are saying there's no scheduled visit for the IAEA inspectors. Is that part of your agreement?
They're wrong. They're wrong. They know they're wrong. They told us inside, and we have it down 100% inspections.
Despite bipartisan disapproval of the war with Iran, the Pentagon is still asking Congress for nearly $80 billion taxpayer dollars to cover the cost of the war and military budget shortfalls. Karen Waugh, ABC News, Washington.
Meanwhile, a stark warning on Capitol Hill about safety in the skies. An airline industry rep claims the close calls between planes that have made headlines in recent months might be only a small portion of the number of safety scares nationwide. The FAA insists America's skies are overwhelmingly safe, with close calls actually down this year. But the mid-air crash between a passenger plane and military helicopter over Washington last year, which killed 67 people, has prompted calls for change. Lawmakers are debating whether to require GPS-based tracking technology on planes, which can show flight crews the traffic around them. But Congress is split. The Senate wants to require the technology on nearly every plane, and House lawmakers want a different approach due to concern about costs and military security.
Well, primary election results coming in overnight. Races from the deep south to the northeast.
Everyone is looking for clues about voter trends and how they could affect the crucial November midterms and the balance of power in Washington. Here's ABC's Lionel Moyes.
Overnight, two big winners emerging from the latest set of primary elections. President Trump and New York's Democratic Socialist Mayor Zohran Mamdani, both scoring perfect records with endorsements in last night's races ahead of November's elections. In New York, Mamdani's growing influence.
He brings a vision of politics that is more than what we've seen for so long.
All three candidates he endorsed coming out victorious.
It's been a good night for Mayor Mamdani. All three of these were very important to him building his political influence and making the argument that his brand of politics can extend to other candidates.
Republicans reacting, saying the Democrat establishment officially surrendered to Zohran Mamdani and the socialist wing of their party. The fight over artificial intelligence also front and center in another congressional race. The AI industry spending millions on ads. New York State Rep Alex Bors, who has led a fight for AI regulation, was defeated by fellow state rep Micah Lasher. Also in this race, President John F. Kennedy's grandson, Jack Schlossberg, coming in a distant third place.
I was honored to receive his endorsement.
In South Carolina, it was President Trump's influence that was tested after making a recent endorsement. Attorney General Alan Wilson winning the Republican primary runoff for governor. Trump-backed Republicans also winning races from Utah to Maryland. Lionel Moyes, ABC News, New York.
Well, this morning, a new attempt to get kids in the classroom off the screens and back to old school in-person instruction. Public schools in Los Angeles, the nation's second largest school district, have now adopted one of the strictest policies restricting screen time in class. The policy, passed by the Board of Education, will ban screen use before second grade and limit screen time for the older students. Once kids reach the second grade, they'll be allowed to spend 1 hour and 40 minutes on devices each week, and that amount increases as they get older, eventually reaching 10 hours a week in high school. But not everyone supports the change. Critics argue some students rely on classroom technology because they do not have access to regular computers at home. Well, coming up on the second half of the newscast, weather challenges have made it harder for strawberry season here in Maine.
We'll have that story straight ahead on Good Morning Maine.
Maine's premier community radio station, Star 97.7. Locally owned and operated for over 20 years with Paul and Mike in the morning, local weather with Steve McKay, and Michael W. Hale in the afternoon. Star 97.7.
Why should your new floor come from Carpet One? Because we're passionate about the spaces our neighbors call home. We're part of your community, and we're also part of the world's largest cooperative of independently owned and operated flooring stores. So you can be sure you'll get great selection and outstanding value with every installation. Whether it's carpet, hardwood, tile, or luxury vinyl, our experts take the guesswork out of choosing the right floor. We're your local Carpet One Floor and Home, the one store for your perfect floor.
Bring
Houston's premier community radio station, Star 97.7. Locally owned and operated for over 20 years with Paul and Mike in the morning, local weather with Steve McKay, and Michael W. Hale in the afternoon. Star 97.7.
You're watching ABC 7 Bangor.
Welcome back, everyone. Today is Wednesday, June 24th, 2026. Somebody that wrote this morning thought it was 2028.
That would be Craig.
Things happen at 3 in the morning here.
Yes.
This is also Upcycling Day.
On this day, we switch from consumption to finding creative ways to reuse items. Rather than dumping items in the trash, we're encouraged to either find other ways to use items or donate them to an organization like Goodwill or the Salvation Army.
I'm pretty good about that. I'll keep
Me
things
too.
like, even a hunk of hose or something, and I'll find a use for it eventually.
Will you?
Yeah.
Oh, that's
yeah.
funny. Something that I do is like with old T-shirts, instead of throwing them away, either donate, but you can also cut them up into rags.
Yeah, I do that
or
too.
do stuff like that. So there's always a different use for something.
I'm cheap. I'm always doing stuff like that, or make my own tools, whatever. So.
Well, you're creative like that too.
All right, time for some history. It was on this date back in 1916. Because of her popularity, Mary Pickford became the very first female actress to be offered $1 million for a contract. Pickford was one of the most popular actresses of the silent film era. Good for her.
Yeah.
$1 million back then was a ton of dough.
Totally.
Yeah. In 1948, communist forces cut off all land and water routes between West Germany and West Berlin, an action that prompted Western allies to organize the Berlin airlift. And in 1967 on this day, boxing great Muhammad Ali was convicted of draft evasion for refusing to be inducted into the U.S. Armed Forces.
And in 1983, the Space Shuttle Challenger coasted to a safe landing in California. It was carrying Sally Ride, America's first woman in space. In 1992, the Supreme Court strengthened its 30-year ban on officially sponsored worship in schools. That's when it banned prayer as part of graduation ceremonies. And lastly, in 2022, in a case that sent shockwaves through the nation, the Supreme Court also officially overturned women's constitutional right to abortion.
That one was a huge
It
one.
was,
Still
yeah.
feeling the effects today. All right, for birthdays today, they include drummer Mick Fleetwood from the band Fleetwood Mac. He is 79 years old today. Actress Minka Kelly is 46. And actor Peter Weller, remember him? He played RoboCop, among other things.
Oh.
He is 79 years old. That happened before you were born.
Yeah.
But
sometimes I struggle with the birthdays and I have to do my research.
yeah, I do too. I do too.
Yeah, that's
so,
okay.
Happy birthday to you also, if your birthday is today.
We'll turn things right back over to meteorologist Chase Ropenack.
Thank you very much. Your morning weather is brought to you by Rogan's Memorials. Give the gift of comfort through thoughtful planning with locations in Bangor, Bucksport, and Lincoln. All right, as you see, we're starting off another warm morning with mid to upper 50s for lows here in Bangor. You're seeing that along the coastline, up into Millinock as well. Some cooler spots, low 50s in Holton, Presque Isle, and upper 40s for you in Clayton Lake this morning. But as we go throughout today, there will be another chance for a few showers and thunderstorms. That's mainly going to stay into the northern tier of the state for today. Millinock into the Presque Isle region and Clayton Lake as well. We're looking to stay dry here in Bangor for your Wednesday afternoon and throughout tonight as well. But we will have a few more chances for showers and thunderstorms going into your Thursday afternoon. So winds out there, there is going to be a breeze from the northwest for today, looking at gusts near 20 to 25 miles per hour, mainly for the central and western portions of the state. That's due to being on the backside of that low pressure system, while the center of the low still up north is going to be doing that, producing those chances for showers and thunderstorms. Winds will lighten up for tonight, and then we can see some areas of dense fog out there as well. So your hour-by-hour forecast for today to show us staying pretty dry here in Bangor, partly cloudy skies, and it's going to get a bit warm out there for today, expecting highs to reach up into the mid to upper 70s.
Thank you, Chase. Now for the latest on what's happening in Hollywood.
Here's ABC's David Packer.
Health news for Rock and Roll Hall of Famer Daryl Hall of Hall & Oates. The 79-year-old announcing on Instagram he recently received a kidney transplant from a very kind and generous living donor. The singer added he's already starting to feel better, and his doctors say it was a complete success. Hall adding that he should be back to normal in a few months.
What's your plan?
No, I don't really have one. I'm kind of new to the action genre.
HBO Max has released the trailer for Stewart Fails to Save the Universe. The Big Bang Theory spin-off follows a comic store employee as he tries to restore reality. It premieres next month.
I hope that's not what you're wearing to the dinner. That's all.
Get ready to strut the runway in your living room. The Devil Wears Prada 2 is coming to streaming on July 29th. You can watch it on Disney Plus and Hulu. Disney is the parent company of ABC News. And happy birthday to actress Mindy Kaling. She turns 47 today. That's what's happening in Hollywood. Dave Packer, ABC News.
Still to come here this morning, Jack Webb with sports.
Don't go away.
Roto-Rooter has served the greater Bangor area and beyond for 35 years, offering plumbing, hydrojetting, snaking, descaling, video inspection, and grease interceptor cleaning services. For all your residential and commercial clogs, call Roto-Rooter today, 990-1234.
And away go troubles down the drain. Roto-Rooter.
Lights, camera, cheese! The Cheese House is looking for its next star, and it could be you. If you're 21 or older, enter for your chance to appear in the next commercial. Stop by the Cheese House at 5 Pike Drive in Fairfield to enter. While you're there, browse their huge selection of glassware and 420 specialty foods. But we have the cheese! Remember, entries are happening in person at the Cheese House, 5 Pike Drive in Fairfield. Bring your personality, bring your smile, and we have the cheese.
As a doctor in rural Maine, we're already seeing the impact. Susan Collins voted to support Donald Trump on the largest Medicaid cut in history. Healthcare is getting even more expensive. People are losing coverage. Our hospitals are closing, and the worst is yet to come. But Susan Collins gave Trump a blank check for his war in Iran. Billions of dollars that we could use here in Maine. We need to tell Susan Collins to stop siding with Donald Trump. We can't afford it.
Hey, Maine, think you're wicked smart? Well, put your knowledge to the test with me, Ken Jennings, on Jeopardy! Weeknights at 7:30 on ABC 7.
Means summer sport activities are beginning to pop up in the area. Most know Herman Mountain Ski Area as a winter sport location, but this summer owners Dave Hart and Tim McClary have set out to turn Herman Mountain into a 4-season destination. This July, Herman Mountain Ski Area is set to open up their 18-hole disc golf course to the public. Hart says that the new addition aids in their mission to operate year-round and provides a fun, family-friendly activity in the Herman area.
Yeah, so we find disc golf to be a pretty family-inclusive sport, so anybody can play it. My daughter plays it, she's 5 years old. My son plays it, he's 9, up to, I play it, parents play it, all that. So it's an inclusive sport that anybody can play. When we looked at the area, it's kind of an area that's lacking disc golf right in the Herman area, so we thought it was a great thing to bring to the community.
The new disc golf course features 18 holes that utilize the natural terrain of the mountain. Some holes will run through the ski trails, others will take players through the trees. That all leads to the final hole, a 900-footer near the top of the mountain that uses the change in elevation to carry the disc further. Hart says getting onto the course will be seamless for all participants, and if you're picking it up for the first time, it's definitely worth giving it a shot.
So we're looking to make the process as seamless as possible. So customers will show up, we'll have a QR code out front, they'll scan it, pay on their phone, and they'll be able to come over and play from there. I would say come out, give it a try. What can go wrong? It's just like playing Frisbee with your dog. Worst case scenario, you're outside enjoying the fresh air and getting some exercise.
We'll transition to the NBA now for some big stories. It didn't take long after the conclusion of the NBA Finals for the first blockbuster trade to take place. Milwaukee Bucks superstar power forward Giannis Antetokounmpo has been traded to the Miami Heat. Late on Monday night, news broke of a massive deal made between the Bucks and Miami that sent Antetokounmpo and Bobby Portis to the Heat in exchange for Tyler Hero, Jaime Jaquez Jr., Kel'el Ware, 4 first-round picks, including number 13 in this year's NBA draft, and a pick swap in 2030 and a second-round pick. The Heat were one of the teams speculated to pursue Giannis once the season concluded, but it was hard to imagine the haul that would be sent in exchange for the future Hall of Famer. Celtics fans, you may want to turn your attention elsewhere. It was also reported that Boston was heavily involved in the Giannis sweepstakes, and it was rumored that Jaylen Brown was a big part of a potential package that would be sent to Milwaukee in exchange for Giannis. If the rumors are true, it'll be interesting to see how the Celtics address the Jaylen Brown situation moving forward. Reportedly, it was Brown and a couple of first-round picks there for the Celtics. The NBA draft was on Tuesday night. I know that threw me off too, draft on a Tuesday, but it's a very intriguing draft class, and those players found out their new homes at the Barclays Center in Brooklyn. The Washington Wizards held the #1 overall pick, and with that, they selected BYU superstar and Brockton, Mass native AJ DeBonsta. The 6'8" gifted scorer averaged 25 points at BYU. He joins a team that already has Anthony Davis and Trae Young. With the second pick, the Utah Jazz took Darren Peterson out of Kansas, but that's the second year in a row Utah has drafted a player that actually didn't work out for the team pre-draft. With the third pick, the Memphis Grizzlies selected Caleb Boozer out of Duke. The versatile big man is the piece Memphis will build around as they look to get back on track. And the Boston Celtics actually drafted Chris Sanak Jr., a 6'10" forward out of Houston, who is a double-double machine as they try to beef up the interior of that lineup. A lot of people like that pick for the Celtics. Well, we got a busy day of the World Cup on Tuesday. Let's take a look at some scores from the second round of group stage play. Portugal with a 5-0 win over Uzbekistan. Cristiano Ronaldo, he saw Messi, he saw Mbappe, he saw Haaland getting theirs. 2 apiece for those guys in 2 separate match days. Ronaldo scored 2 goals in the first half in that one. England with a stunning 0-0 draw with Ghana. They had chances to win it all over. Ghana actually might have been awarded, it's controversy. They could have been awarded a penalty at the end and actually come away with a win in that game. And then in primetime, Croatia got a win over Panama. It's going to be big games next round for that group. Panama and England on Saturday, and then you're going to have Croatia up against Ghana on Saturday. A lot on the line there. Well, folks, that is all the time we have for sports. We'll be right back after the break.
From the heart of Maine, where rugged beauty meets timeless craftsmanship, Richard Henderson & Sons Masonry, taming the outdoors through groundwork, retaining walls and seawalls, building custom fireplaces that become the centerpiece of your home, crafting granite steps and patios that invite you outdoors, designing hardscapes that turn yards into living spaces, built to last, crafted for life. Richard Henderson & Sons Masonry, quality in every stone.
I served 2 tours in the Middle East, 21 years in the Air Force.
I served in a field artillery unit.
The Maine National Guard.
I respect Graham Plattner's service, but he doesn't respect ours.
Plattner falsely accused a military hero of war crimes.
He said a Purple Heart recipient didn't deserve to live after being shot, trying to save his own troops.
And Plattner blames his Nazi tattoo on military culture? That's insulting. Graham Plattner's a fraud. He's unfit to represent Maine.
Pine Tree Results PAC is responsible for the content of this advertising.
Webb's RV Center has a 4-acre lot with over 75 previously owned campers all on sale, plus another 4 acres of new RVs and motorhomes. Webb's RV will take anything in trade. You can buy a camper anywhere, but be sure to buy your next camper at your local neighbor. A website can't service your RV, but Webb's RV will. And they have the biggest service department in the state of Maine to help you enjoy your RV or motorhome.
So come on down, neighbor. The coffee pot's on and the pencil is sharp.
It's officially strawberry season here in Maine.
But as our Alex Schley tells us, extreme weather patterns over the past year have created challenges for some central Maine growers.
Fresh Maine strawberries may be a bit harder to find this year.
Our strawberry season is kind of coming to an end. It's started a little early, so I think we probably get to Saturday, but our U-pick is done.
A couple of towns over, however, the season is just getting underway at Tree Ridge Family Orchard in Levant.
This is the beginning, yep. So I'm hoping to be going strong through the 4th of July.
The difference highlights the challenges growers face after a year marked by both droughts and then heavy rain, and wildly different growing conditions from one farm to the next. Farmers say last summer's drought put a significant stress on the strawberry plants. Only some of the strawberry fields at Thunder Road Farm are equipped with irrigation.
So that stress of the the hot summer with no rain, and then a lot of rain this year, it's just and that hasn't helped them.
Owners say the drought's effects are still being felt this season.
Yeah, it's bad for the roots. You know, they can't produce the sugar like they should, and then if the berries get wet and they sit there, then they rot quickly.
Owner says strawberries are one of the most demanding crops he grows.
My growing friends call them struggle berries, so they take a lot more TLC than my other crops.
Despite these challenges, farm owners say customers should not expect higher prices.
We're not going to up it a lot to try to make up for our issues that we have in the field.
Growers say fresh Maine strawberries should remain available through the 4th of July. But with conditions varying from farm to farm, they recommend calling ahead before heading out to pick. In Levant, Alex Schley for ABC 7 and Fox 22 News.
Oh, you can almost taste that strawberry shortcake or something, though. Nothing
so
like
good.
Fresh Maine strawberries.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, now here's meteorologist Chase Ropanek with our full weather forecast.
Thank you very much. Your Maine weather this morning is also brought to you by Rogan's Memorials. Give the gift of comfort through thoughtful planning with locations in Bangor, Bucksport, and Lincoln. All right, it's a pretty warm morning. Once again, very similar morning to yesterday with mids upper 50s here in Bangor. 57 degrees to start off your day, 55 in Millinocket. A bit cooler as you head further north. You're looking at low 50s in Holton, Presque, 49 in Clayton Lake this morning. But a few of us starting off near 60. You can see that in Lewiston to start off your Wednesday morning. Average highs this time of year right around the mid to upper 70s. We are going to be back above that for today into your Thursday as well. Cooling off Friday. That's when we'll have some showers and thunderstorms all across the state, keeping us cloudy and cooler, but into your weekend upper 70s, low 80s, and that sticks around into your Monday and Tuesday as well. So winds are going to get a bit breezy out there for today due to being on the backside of the low pressure system we dealt with. Looking at gusts near 20 to 25 miles per hour out there, but we're still looking to warm up nicely for today as well. As we go into tonight, winds look to lighten up, and as we get into your your Thursday, that's when winds are getting a little bit more breezy again from the southwest, with another chance for showers and thunderstorms. It looks to be more here in Bangor. But for today, the threat looks to be a little bit more north. You're looking for areas near Millinocket into the Presque Isle region, Clayton Lake as well, Holton area, all having chances for showers and thunderstorms going into this afternoon and evening hours. But looking to stay pretty dry here in Bangor. Should have no chances really for seeing those showers and thunderstorms. But for tomorrow is when we'll have a better chance, again, during those afternoon to evening hours, and more of that threat for showers and thunderstorms being the Bangor and coastal regions. You can see that here. Some showers and thunderstorms going north throughout the night, but again, they're going to lose energy, and we'll have another round and more widespread chances for showers and thunderstorms heading into your Friday. So for today, looking to get close to 80 out there, upper 70s with chances for showers and thunderstorms north of town. We look to stay dry here with partly cloudy skies and winds a little breezy from the northwest. But for tonight, we'll have some areas of dense fog as winds lighten up. You're going to see partly cloudy skies and lows in the mid 50s. So for tomorrow, we're going to get a bit warmer, low 80s, partly cloudy skies. But yes, we do have that chance for a few more showers and thunderstorms going later into the afternoon. Again, that time frame being right around 3 to 5 p.m. Taking a look at your extended forecast, you can see low 80s in the Thursday with another chance for showers and thunderstorms that continues into Friday. And that's when we'll be a bit more cooler due to heavy cloud cover, keeping us in the upper 60s. But we will have no issues rebounding nicely for your weekend, upper 70s for your Saturday, and low 80s into your Sunday.
Let's try to put this one in here.
Built for Monday,
Jace, Kelly, you guys ever drive this thing?
born for Saturday. How it should be. The Hyundai Santa Fe.
Lease an all-wheel drive Hyundai Santa Fe SE for $289 a month or get up to $3,500 customer cash. Hurry in.
There are so many fun things to do in Maine. Now you can enjoy more for less. Check out half-off deals from foxbangor.com.
Looking for great food and hometown flavor? Riverside Grill is your favorite spot for juicy burgers, choices on seafood, and more. Fresh food served with a smile every day.
There's a limited supply available. It's on sale right now. Save with half-off deals from foxbangor.com.
As a doctor in rural Maine, we're already seeing the impact. Susan Collins voted to support Donald Trump on the largest Medicaid cut in history. Healthcare is getting even more expensive. People are losing coverage. Our hospitals are closing, and the worst is yet to come. But Susan Collins gave Trump a blank check for his war in Iran. Billions of dollars that we could use here in Maine. We need to tell Susan Collins to stop siding with Donald Trump. We can't afford it.
This morning on GMA, if you love The Bear, you're gonna love this.
I mean, it's the best.
Everybody's so excited. We are cooking things up on the big final season of The Bear with the amazing cast. Plus, Colin Farrell live this morning on
Good Morning, America.
She wanted a prom dress. She was hostile. I refused to do it at that point.
You acted as if she was working for you. I don't even see the text messages with her being rude. You were being rude.
Hot Bench. Wednesday at 3 on ABC 7.
The world's largest kite festival had 25,000 kites up on the sandy beaches of Fan, a small Danish island on the North Sea coast. Fan International Kite Flyers meeting is held every year in June. 5,000 kite flyers meet from 26 countries and are filling the sky with estimated 25,000 kites of all shapes, sizes, and colors.
Look at those kites.
So cool. Along the vast beach, participants have launched everything from giant sharks to fantasy creatures to enormous artistic creations. And some kites are even as large as houses, while others showcase more intricate engineering and detailed craftsmanship. One of this year's highlights has been precision team flying, where 8 pilots maneuver their kites in synchronized formations. That's really cool.
There's a little ET up there, too.
Yeah.
That's pretty neat.
That's really cool.
Those are a little different than the kites you get at Walmart.
They sure are.
Yeah, can't get those there. All right, well, a sausage dog race held outside of Munich on Sunday attracted more than 100 participants. The organizer called the breed, quote, a naturally stubborn but incredibly loyal. Cheered on by their owners and lured with a goodie or their favorite toy, the Dackel, as the German calls them, raced down the separate lanes, put up on a golf course, their ears flying up in the air as they did. This year marked the second time the Dackel Open was held. Other dog breeds were also welcome, but only as spectators.
Oh, they have some strict rules.
Yeah, they call them sausage dogs there, I guess.
Sausage
we call
dogs,
them
wiener dogs.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Well, the incredible structure has been unveiled in his homeland during this summer's World Cup. It features Messi in a blue and white Argentina shirt on his knees with raising his right arm in celebration. The remarkable statue is located in Cutralco, a small Argentine city in the region with a population of only 40,000 people. Several clips of the Messi monument have gone viral on social media. Local chiefs are hoping that it can drive some tourism as well. That's pretty neat.
He's a big soccer star, one of the biggest in the world, and I believe his birthday is today too.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, I almost put that in the birthdays today. But
oh, well, happy birthday, Messi.
Know who he is.
Interesting. But, yeah. Well, that's all the time that we have left for this hour, but you can join us for the second hour of Good Morning Maine. That's next on Fox 22.
Have a great day, everyone.
He jumped on the ladder and climbed up about 3 steps and just hung there. The crew chief went down the ladder, grabbed him by the rucksack and held him until we got off to a LZ where we could drop him off.
You can never expect. So when people say it's fake or it's made up, I dare you to walk a mile in our shoes. Better yet, you don't have to walk a mile. Just take our Matterhorn boots and lace them up and see how heavy they are. They have our sweat, they have our tears, and they have our fears all locked up in a nice bow at the top.
A lot of people now, they see the political side, they see the ads, they see the smear campaigns. They didn't see him smiling on the oyster boat saying that, you know, the greatest thing that he figured out after getting out of the Marine Corps was that hard work in the place you love is the best thing you can do.
I'm Graham Plattner, and I approve this message.
This spring, invest in your nest with the County Federal Credit Union. Your home has grown in value season after season. With the county's 10-10 Home Equity Line of Credit, you can borrow up to your credit limit over 10 years with interest-only payments over those 10 years, 10-10. And then You can stop and smell the roses, soak up the sun, and invest in your nest. The 1010 Home Equity Line of Credit, the County Federal Credit Union, countyfcu.org.
As a doctor in rural Maine, we're already seeing the impact. Susan Collins voted to support Donald Trump on the largest Medicaid cut in history. Healthcare is getting even more expensive. People are losing coverage. Our hospitals are closing, and the worst is yet to come. But Susan Collins gave Trump a blank check for his war in Iran. Billions of dollars that we could use here in Maine. We need to tell Susan Collins to stop siding with Donald Trump. We can't afford it.
Good Morning Maine on WFVX, Fox 22. From the Great Northwoods to the Rockbound Coast and streaming live in HD worldwide at foxbangor.com. More people choose Good Morning Maine.
Hello everyone. Today on Good Morning Maine, major reductions in services are on the horizon for the town of Lincoln. We'll explain coming up.
Plus, the city of Brewer is hosting a fundraiser aimed at supporting families impacted by the Robbins Lumber Mill fire.
And Maine wardens are reminding folks that it's Pollinator Week. We'll learn how to protect native plants and animals ahead. Good morning and welcome to Good Morning Maine. I'm Janessa Bishop.
And I'm Craig Colson. Thank you for joining us this morning. We'll have those stories and more, including a report on this year's strawberry season.
Yeah.
Ready to have some nice ripe strawberries myself.
Me too. Yummy.
Right. But first, we're going to start with a check of that forecasting. It looks like after a couple of kind of rainy, gloomy days, things will be brighter today and warming up as well. Still a chance of a stray shower, but overall we'll see some